Hi, this is Jesus Rivas from the research office. I'm going to give you some examples of the kind of narrative you can build using the datasheets we provided to you so that you can complete section 1 of your online form. First, I'm going to open my online form. And after I do that, I will go to the first metric that needs to be analyzed. In this case, it's unduplicated enrollment or headcount, which comes from your blue datasheet. In this example, we're building narrative for a class under the program named Institutional Research. And I already pulled the data from my datasheet. So now I will proceed to build some narrative around it. If you have questions about how to fill in your online form using data from your datasheet, please watch the previous video. I want to highlight that my examples are just that, examples. I'm hoping that they will help you to build your own narrative, which would have more value as your subject matter experts. Remember, the online form specifies that there are no right or wrong answers. So keep that in mind as you're writing. Before reviewing the questions, I'm going to take a look at my data. In this way, I can start to see what things I could potentially highlight. So for example, as I'm looking at my data, I see that the percentage of African American students in my class is higher than the one for SCCE. Also, the percentage of white students in my class is lower than the one in the CCE. I also see that by gender, the split between male and female students is the same, even for my class, whereas for San Diego Continuing Education, the percentage of female was higher. In addition to that, when I'm looking to the age group data, I can see how the percentage of students 40 and older is less than the percentage, it's less in my class than the percentage for SCCE. So those are things that I could highlight in my narrative. So for the first question, I am being asked different things. I'm being asked if I see any trends among different demographics, if there are any groups not enrolled in my class, if I am surprised about anything, and if I know why things are the way they are. So for this question, I'm going to say the following. Remember, you can always make this one bigger if you need it to be bigger. So in this case, I'm saying that my class had a bigger percentage of African American students compared to SDCE. Also, my class had a smaller percentage of white students compared to SDCE as well. I also see that my class had an even split between males and females, whereas SDCE had a higher proportion of female students. Regarding age, I can highlight that the population in my class was relatively younger than SDCE's. This based on the fact that my class had a smaller percentage of 40-year and older students. It surprised to me to have a smaller percentage of white students compared to SDCE. And finally, one of the reasons why my class had a younger population than SDCE, that could be that institutional research is a very popular program between younger people, as involves using different digital tools that older populations might not find as interesting. This is for sure debatable. Remember, there are no right or wrong answers. This is for us to share our thoughts and build new ideas together. For the second question, I am being asked what my follow-up questions are. What else I would like to know about my students, and what next steps could I take to obtain answers? I'm going to write that. I am curious about why my program is enrolling more African American students than SDCE. I mean, relatively speaking, because of the percentages. I would like to know if this is something new or if it has always been like that. I also want to know if this has something to do with location. I mean, does the campus where we offer the class maybe has to do something with this? To answer these questions, I will ask the research office. I'm going to ask them if there's any source of information I could use to see how this percentage has changed over time, and also if there's any data I could use to compare the percentage of African American population in our services areas versus the percentage among our student population. Remember, these questions could go to the research office, but it could also these could also be questions that you might want to ask to your program chair, your dean, or any of the other departments in our institution. The third question asks if I am interested in increasing the enrollment of a specific demographic. I am going to enter that I would like to increase the enrollment for older populations, specifically those with 65 years or older, because this program could be an option for people having to re-enter the workforce. In order to do this, I need to understand this population better, so I will ask our Emeritus Program Chair for resources I could use to learn more about this. Once you do this, you are going to repeat this process with retention and success, but they work in the same way. Remember, this should be an enjoyable process. This is for self-reflection, so feel free to enter all the things that you consider important. Also, feel free to add any highlights you want to add from the other columns of the data sheets. Remember, the online form is only asking you for this data, CRN data, and also SDCE data. But if you feel that it would be good to also add information or any narrative about these columns, go ahead and do it. I hope this video was useful. If you still have questions, feel free to send them to me at jrivas@sdccd.edu. Thank you so much.